We've never been to Hot Springs, and this is so beautiful. I've just touched that hot spring. Is it really real? It's not like heat up or anything?
The thermal water is 143-degree average, and right behind all the bathhouses. There's a reason why all the bathhouses are located in one central location, and that's because there's a fault line that runs right behind us, and that is actually what brings the water up. When it rains, like the rain that we got a couple of days ago, it's starting its journey right now deep into the earth. It goes about 6,000 to 8,000 feet into the ground. There's a natural reservoir that's underneath our feet where the water collects, and it's like a big, huge pot where the water collects, and then the heat, the thermal gradients from the earth, because the closer you get to the Earth's core, the hotter it gets, and so it sits there and it just steeps. And so when it rains again, it wants to get in, and so it creates this pressure, so it pushes that water up. Well, that water's got to go somewhere, and so it starts to move. It hits that fault line, and it just shoots all the water straight up. So Hot Springs National Park has 47 thermal springs that pops up all along Hot Springs Mountain, the hillside that's right behind us. The majority of those springs are capped. You'll see these green boxes throughout the park, and that's because we are the only national park that's federally mandated to give our water away for drinking. People take our water home to drink it.
Oh yeah.
The water's very high in potassium, magnesium, calcium, and sodium. So back in the early times, it was tagged healing water. And a lot of that is because people, when they hunted, you know, how they killed it or how they grew it, that was the only vitamins and minerals their body was getting. Drinking the water, they gave themselves that extra stuff. And since like potassium, magnesium, and sodium, and calcium, that's what our body needs to heal itself. And so magnesium, for instance, is the active ingredient for Pepto-Bismol or milk of magnesia, and that's used for stomach issues. And
I need that.
So back in the day, a lot of the food they ate was probably questionable because they didn't have the refrigeration that we have now to keep food from spoiling. So they were eating probably food that was probably closer to being spoiled, and so they always had intestinal issues. And so when they drank the water, their tummy issues would go away because of the magnesium in the water. And
that is so cool.
And then sitting in the thermal water like today, I mean, there's nothing like a nice relaxing hot bath. You always feel better, and so a lot of people are coming here just to get that rest and relaxation, soaking in the thermal water.
Well, that's awesome. You know, I came here mostly for like the nature, and I know I go Golden. There are a bunch of trails, like, and which one, like, do I go to, where to start, and like I don't want to do the 10-mile one, but like the short ones, and where are they, and like.
Well, in our park, Hot Springs National Park, we're not the first national park. Yellowstone is the first national park, but we are the oldest unit in the park system. We were actually set aside in 1832. That's when it was pushed in legislation to put this. They set the Congress set this land aside for public use. They had no idea what to do with it at that time period, but they knew it was special enough to kind of protect. And so we're the first. We're set up, if you've ever been to a lot of national parks here in the United States, we're not anything that most people would think of, like Yellowstone or Grand Canyon. You have no towns around you.
Yeah, I was so surprised.
You don't have any of this other stuff. I kind of like to think of us, do you know what a pancake is?
Yeah.
Have you ever cooked pancakes before?
Yeah, for him.
Does your first pancake look as pretty as your other pancakes?
No.
No. Even though it's got the same ingredients, tastes the same, it looks a little wonky compared to the other pancakes. Yeah. Hot Springs National Park is the first pancake. We have the same ingredients as a national park. We have all the ingredients to be a national park. We just look a little wonky, because we didn't have all those rules and regulations when they set up the national park system, the first national park, Yellowstone. They knew that not only did they have to protect the resource, but they also had to protect the surrounding lands of the resource. See, here we just protected the resource. So we have this town that's in the middle of our park, and then the town surrounds the park, because we only protected the thermal water. We didn't protect the surrounding land. So Hot Springs North Mountain is the mountain that's right behind Bathhouse Road. This is the most popular. People like to hike in this area. The trails are really short, but they all web link together, so you can make it as long or as short as you like. West Mountain is going to be the mountain that's across the street, the mountain behind the city buildings. These trails are about at least a mile long to 2 miles long. They're large loops. They don't really they don't connect together, so once you start on a trail, you just finish the trail out. And then obviously we've got our longest trail, which is the Sunset. All of the green area, Hot Springs National Park, is 5,500 acres. So we are initially the smallest national park in the system. And the majority of our park is only accessible by hiking. We've got 27 miles of hiking trails, and there's only 5 miles to drive on. So the majority of it is only seen through hiking. And so that kind of fits into the health and wellness idea of what the park is. That's what it began as. That's one of our sole purposes, to get people to come here for health and wellness. Hiking is a big part of being healthy, because one, it not only is it good for you physically, but it's also good for you mentally, because a lot of people, like myself, I like to sometimes, when all this gets to me, you'll find me sitting somewhere out in nature just relaxing and listening to the birds, or just taking in the views. So
all right, well, thank you so much.
You're welcome.